Regent Park Indigenous Report Youth Walk and Rally Challenge Ongoing Impact of Bill 5 and C-5 on First Nations Rights. Welcome to Regent Park TV. I'm Thundercloud, and this is the Indigenous Report, our ongoing coverage dedicated to telling the stories that matter to Indigenous people and to our communities here in Toronto's downtown east. The stories connect local voices to the broader struggles and victories shaping Indigenous rights, justice, and the future of this land. Today we bring you to Queen's Park for the 7th Fire Youth Call to Action Rally, the powerful conclusion of a 3-week ceremonial walk led by Mahmo Inninuwuk Wiibuseego-Stamok of Iahtail First Nation. Tristan Ashishkeesh, the organizer of this journey, arrived in Toronto after walking 700 kilometers from Timmins alongside Sage, Iahtail, and Todd Spence, beginning their peace trek on July 15th to oppose Ontario's Bill 5 and Canada's Bill C-5. Craig Koostachin also started the journey but withdrew after a doctor warned him serious health risks from a physical strain. At every stop, the walkers shared their message and listened to the community voices, building momentum for the August 8th rally at Queen's Park, attended by more than 80 supporters, which marked the culmination of their journey with ceremony, song, and solidarity. Among those at the rally was Regent Park Indigenous rights activist Miguel Avila Velarde, there in solidarity with the youth and to add his voice to the call for change. We'll first hear from Miguel, followed by an interview with Craig Koostachin. Afterward, we'll bring you highlights from the rally. Here's Miguel with his thoughts on why the movement matters for Regent Park and beyond.
Hi, my name is Miguel, and I am a community member of Regent Park. I'm also, I have Indigenous background roots from Peru, and I'm here because the struggles of First Nations are also our struggles in solidarity, because it's sad that a lot of laws that protect the environment will be erased, run over by the government at Dock 4. What we have witnessed on July the 1st, 2025, here outside the Ontario Legislature, we have seen a rebirth of interest from the youth because they are affected by the changes to the environment laws. A lot of youth will agree with them, even from Asian, Black, white communities. Everybody is concerned about the environment and to protect it and to avoid the destruction, because without a healthy environment, we are causing our own demise as a society. We are connected in many ways. How Bill 5 and Bill C-5 will affect Regent Park indirectly. The argument is that it's an emergency act to protect Canadians from the tariffs, the world trade with the United States and the government of Donald Trump. That is the argument they're selling to Canadians, selling to Ontarians, selling to people from Toronto and Regent Park, of course. But again, we were not consulted. A lot of labor organizations have said, the lack of consultation is leading to uprising in communities because they're being affected in their pockets. The price of groceries is going up and up and up. While those who live in fixed income, we don't have any increases, right? So, and Regent Park has a lot of people on ODSP, and that will directly affect them, my friend. And as a father of 3 children, I have an obligation, a moral obligation to be here, and I want to open up an invitation to other men and women to stand up for their kids because we're talking the 7 generations here.
Stand up, fight back. We are the colored people, the lost people, the displaced people. We are greater numbers than those elites, that 1%.
Well, thank you for approaching me and letting me participate in your interview. My name is Koostachin, and what brought me here was definitely to show solidarity for the youth, because for me, that I never had that support. I was by myself, so I know exactly, I just want to let the youth know that they're not alone, because it definitely, yeah, I was alone. I don't want the youth to feel alone, so I have to just show up solidarity, just so that someone actually cares for what they are trying to fight. So hopefully I'll be that support to give them that push, because clearly that they have stronger words. They have the stronger words than me, because they achieve so much more than what I can or what I failed to do when I was 18, 16. So that's what I mean. I'm going to tell them, you're doing a good thing. You're doing better than I am. And that's it for us mentors to teach. That's what is the old saying. It's like you teach our apprentices to become the new masters. And that's when you know that you're successing as a good leader. It's that when your mentor becomes a new master and saying, I did my job. So hopefully it's like just me showing up, saying you're doing a great job. You have a good heart, kids, and they are our future leaders. And I hope that they pursue to do greater things, and hopefully teach the next generation and the next and the next. I'm from Iahtail, so it's definitely going to be a big impact for sure, saying that the peatlands, they're the lungs of Canada, of the whole Turtle Island. It's like a one giant filter that cleans all the water and stuff like that. And there's this bill, the idea of a bill, lifting all environmental laws, the protection laws, to really harm the lung, which keeps our waters clean. It's like that really bothers me. Because as I said, with all the youth they have, I'm pretty sure that the youth, they have good memories of, fishing and hunting and being part of being on the land. And I hate the idea of the youth not having that in future generations. Clean drinking water is a human right. And I just don't like the idea of like Doug Ford saying like, hey, I'll give you clean water if you just scoot on over. It's like, I don't know what's going on in his head. I think it's wrong. Drinking water is a human right. You shouldn't use that as a leverage just to brush aside the First Nations. So it's like, so definitely we need a direct call to action and just occupying that land as long as we can, just to not let them touch that rich resource, because water is life. And that peat's land, they definitely it needs to be protected. It's not only me that First Nations are going to be affected, it's all of Canada, all North America. It's the final frontier, and we definitely need to occupy it, defend it, fend off definitely repel these disastrous environmental bills.
To the elders, they give us guidance, they give us direction, and we'll go forward and do the good work. I've said this in every community we visited in our walk. The first community was RPTV First Nation. They invited us out to a breakfast before we started our day, and I gave them a gift of tobacco. And I asked them, bring an elder, bring your chief and council. And they did. The chief was at the Prime Minister's meeting, so she sent the deputy and the rest of the council, and there was an elder there. And when I gave them that tobacco, I asked, tell me your concerns. Tell me the story of how your community came to be. And what they told me is right now their people are split. Half of them are living in that community on the Ontario side, but their lost family is on the other side in Quebec. The concerns they have with Bill 5 and Bill C-5 is all the mining stake claims that have gone up around their community. When you see the border of where they live in, all around it, there are 44,000 mining claims. When you turn in from the highway to go into their community, just on the other side sits their natural spring water source. One of the environmentalists on their council was telling me he could stick his arm into the moss to his elbow and he feels nothing but cold running water that you can drink from. Their concerns are the mining company nearby going in to destroy that because there is a large deposit of gold there. I can't remember the exact figure, but it's in the high millions, hundreds of millions, if they were to take that. But what would happen to Apatipi? They will lose their clean drinking water that they rely on. They don't drink from the tap. They drink from that spring water, and it gives them life. The next community we visited was Matachewan First Nation, and they wanted to feast us for a supper. And I did the same. I brought tobacco and I asked, bring your chief and council, bring elders, and this time, bring young people. And I couldn't remember why something motivated me to say, bring young people. But when we got there, the same thing. Gave tobacco. And I asked them to share with me the story of how their community came to be, and then to share their concerns. Matachewan is a fairly new community, but their people have lived in the area since time immemorial. That was their hunting grounds. The concerns only came from elders. There's clear cutting going on there right now. And what they're planning to do is to start drilling to look for resources. One of the areas that have been clear cut was a family's trapline. And they told me the past 2 years, nothing has come back to that land. No moose, no deer, nothing. How can that family survive and sustain themselves if they can't even hunt on their own trapline? I shared with that community the difference between treaty chiefs and INAC chiefs. And I'll share that here now, since we're at this point. A treaty chief like Conrad, he will never be voted to that position by people. He will never be given it by people. It's the Gokumak and the Mushumak who give that to him, and they tell him, take it, it's there. And when you do, you share it with the people. He does not do it for his own personal gain. He knows what it is to live in poverty. He knows what it is to live outside of his community. And still, he will treat everyone the same. And he will share the knowledge of spirit and intent that was put into the signing of Treaty 9. Because he is a descendant of one of the signatories, Jacob Iahtail, who held that pipe at the signing in Attawapiskat. A Nyack chief, and I do not say this with disrespect, but I say it to educate people. A Nyack chief is given authority from the votes they get within the boundaries of their community. The paychecks they receive come from the government. And so their hands are tied by policies. Their voices are silenced because I'm sure a lot of them feel the same way that us young people do. But they have to maintain those positions because who else can speak for us at those levels? I shared that with the community and the chief there. And the next day as we began our walk, Rachel Miller Flood brought us cigarettes and donuts from Tim Hortons. And she thanked me. She said, "You lit a fire in the young people that were there last night." This morning they went to the chief's office and started questioning him about the developments that were happening. And to this day, the past 3 days, elders of Matachewan have been sitting in front of those clear-cutting machines, and they're not moving. It's sad to say that INAC chief brought police officers, OPP, to defuse the situation and move those elders, when those elders are the ones he should be getting his guidance from. Those are the ones he should be consulting when people want to move into his territory. That's the education we brought and will continue to bring. The next community we visited was Tamagami First Nation. They're known as Bear Island. But an elder there shared with me, when you translate in their language, it's Berry Island. Because there are so many blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, gooseberries, mooseberries. They got all kinds of berries. And when you walk on their trails, you see them. You see the life that's there. And to them, it was a retreat for their people to go and to heal. We had an opportunity to go and sit with their chief and council and pretty much all the community. There was a group, a YouTube group going in that was going to be doing some filming on their land, and they wanted to give education about what they were going to do. And the chief heard that we were coming in that night, and she said, "Well, we're going to give you an hour or half an hour to speak and share your message." And I did. This time it was a little different. I spoke about the difference between treaty chiefs and INAC chiefs. But I also talked about that medicine wheel. And we don't have one here really to see. But I talked about how each of those colors, in the Mushkegowuk territory, we use white, yellow, red, and blue. These represent the four peoples, Creator's creations. And I explained to them, Creator had made a treaty with each of the original beings. And he had given a gift to each of them. The white one was given a stick. The red one was given like a gun club and a bullwhip. Because when you crack a whip, it sounds like those thunder beings. After Creator gave those gifts, the white one went to the red. And he says, "Trade with me. I like what you have. Trade with me." Red one says, "No, this is my gift. Creator gave it to me. I'm going to keep it." The white one again, "Come on, trade with me. Trade with me." The red one was so kind. He said, "Okay, I'll trade with you." And he took that stick. As soon as that happened, Creator went to that red one. And he says, "Because of what you just did, all the descendants of those other beings are going to come to your land, and they're going to share the land with your descendants." We always knew this was coming, the way we live today. You see it in a city like this. All the people of the four nations living here, living together. And it's sad to say that the gifts were misused by the white one. What did he use to create? He created weapons of war, created firearms, and he used the whip, his authority that came from it, to subjugate other nations. It started with the Roman Empire and how they expanded, and they used the whip, their authority on people. The way we live today, it comes from the British Empire and how they used their guns, and again, the whip with their authority. And that's why we live the way we do today. Us, the red people, we still use our sticks. We still honor that original treaty with Creator. We use our stick for our staffs. The pipe ceremony we had, you saw what we put into that stone. It was a stick. When the three of us stood here and sang, we used our sticks. When we create our lodges and our migwams and our teepees, we use those sticks because we honor that treaty. And this is something the other nations have lost. They've lost a bit of that, but we still retain it and we still honor it. And we know that until the end of time, we will always use our sticks. I shared that in Barry Island, sorry. And a lot of the elders came and talked to me, and they said, we've heard this before. The late old man Peter O'Cheese came to our community and talked like that. You talk like an old man. And I started laughing. I said, I'm not gray yet. I'm only 29. And I told him, I'm not a knowledge keeper. I'm not a young elder. I'm a helper. And when I'm taught these things, I think it's my gift to educate and help educate people to understand, to bring a shared understanding. Because I also explained to that community that we need to start walking with those other nations and supporting each other. That is why treaties between our people and their people were made, so that we can continue to walk on this land and prosper and share the land. When we approached North Bay, I tried my best to reach out to Nipissing First Nation. When I called the band office, they gave me a runaround for a good hour on the phone. And when I got back to the receptionist after talking to three others, I asked, hey, just out of curiosity, what do you guys think about Bill 5 and Bill C-5? And I was told, oh, our community supports it. We want to go ahead with it. And when I explained to them what we were doing, they did not want to stand with us. That was the first part of the trip where I faltered, where I thought, what's the point of going on then if we're trying to unite people and this community doesn't want it? Thankfully, I thought of myself and how I went from a position in my organization to being jobless and resigning, and that now I'm at a grassroots level. So I reached out to the grassroots people in that community, and I want to thank Kelsey Borgford for helping connect me to people who do care, who do have the same views as us. And together we were able to host a rally with Okinawa and Youth Rising. It was mainly elders who showed up because it was powwow weekend. A lot of people were gone to the Six Nations powwow, but we still held our rally. We still shared the information that we did because that's what we do. Going from there, our walk became harder. From North Bay to Barrie, there was really no support. We were staying in this 2-star motel and you could hear each other through the walls, and balcony was kind of falling off the building, and my Aunt Elizabeth over there with the hat, she scared me one night because she shook the balcony while I was having a smoke I thought, oh, shit, we're gonna fall. But she was just being silly. And it got harder with our funding, eh? At the beginning, from Timmins to about New Liskeard, I had no funding. I had my last paycheck from my job, and it's all gone now. Thankfully, each community we visited, though, was able to support us. And I made the mistake of trying to do mobile deposits, so a lot of it got withheld. I only had access to about 500, and then about the 1,500 I had from my last paycheck. That's what carried us to New Liskeard. Every time we started the day and we were running low on funds, when we were gonna struggle and we needed gas or food, started the day with prayer. Sure enough, by the end of the day, some form of donation would find its way to us, whether it was cash, whether it was food, whether it was water. And I want to thank Jackie Werner Hokama, if she's still here, for providing us that goose stew, and your husband for providing those German potatoes. Those were delicious. That food rejuvenated us, gave us strength again. It felt good to eat food from the land, not processed food. All the support we received, I'll never forget. And I'll always carry your faces and the memories of the time we spent together, even if it was just for a quick smoke or a Gatorade along the highway, or Jerry McComb and Talia Sarrazin bringing us cedar tea. It kept us going. It kept us strong. It kept us connected to the land. By the time we got to Barrie, I was so exhausted. I was burning out. I was really burning out. Trying to do communication, challenging myself to do it by myself, trying to take care of the team and accepting their help. I was burnt out. I tried reaching out to Rama First Nation, no replies. But thankfully, to a non-Indigenous woman named Joanne Scott, she was able to connect us with an Indigenous man, Jared Big Canoe. And Jared, too, invited us to his store over on the Georgian Chippewa side. And he said, hey, I got some fish. We're gonna have a fish fry. I got corn. We're gonna have some corn. And I'll get you guys watermelon. And it was such a refreshing visit. Some of the gas stations and trading posts we stopped at along the way were not Indigenous run, but yet they had Indigenous crafts. And you could see on the tags, made in China, made in Quebec, made in Ontario. And I asked a lot of those people, are those from communities nearby? No, I order from here. And they were so proud and happy to do that and say it. And I remember telling one lady just near Bear Island on the highway, I said, there's a community just down that access road, and I guarantee you there are artisans there who make crafts. Those are the ones you should be buying from, not factories, not wholesalers, those people. And I was so happy to see Jared's store, because inside, he says, I picked these up at powwows. Some were donated to us by elders. He has hand drums he makes himself. He buys pop from Mohawks. Some of the most delicious pop I ever had. Strawberry and sweetgrass. I wish I had the can to show you, because it was delicious. But that's what we need more of. Indigenous entrepreneurship. We need to support each other. In stores and organizations, they need to purchase those things from the artisans, not to make a profit themselves, but just to say, this comes from this woman, this comes from this man, this is the community they're from. After Barrie, got a little more harder, but a little more faster too. From there, we were able to go onto Yonge Street, and we walked through Bradford, Innisfil, Newmarket, all the way here to Toronto. We followed Yonge Street. For myself, since day 5, I've had shin splints. My blisters have had blisters. I've had about 3 rounds of blisters in the same spot. The first few days we walked in rain and thunderstorms because our treaty chief Conrad said the thunder beings are acknowledging your prayers. My ankles got cut up from the rubbing and really bad scabs. So when Craig said there was blood, sweat, and tears, there was. My feet were bleeding. I was crying when I was alone. And I was sweating every day, even in the rain. Because if you see pictures from the beginning, I was a bigger man, and now I'm a little more skinnier. When I walked into this city the last 8 kilometers with Kiera, Spence, and Jonathan Inose, I felt refreshed. Mainly because me and Kiera had to run after John with his big steps. But he was able to share with me some of the changes that have happened in this city. How there used to be a river that flowed through. How there used to be natural cliffs that people could go to. All these things were taken away to provide more of what you see behind you. For me, when we stopped at the park, it was hard to hold my emotions in check. Because I kept thinking, this is it, we're done. And now we have to all go to our homes, our home fires. And I'm happy for that. Because I miss my dog, I miss my little brother, I miss my mother, my father, my nokum. I miss my home. But this isn't the end. This is not the end. From here, we've been invited next week to the NAN's Chief Assembly to speak, to use our voices to share. Some of the First Nations around Kingston area were trying to get me to go to their territory at the end of September. And unfortunately, the dates align where we're having our fasting camp in Attawapisket, and I said, I'm sorry, but there are personal things I need to go and let go of, and I need to strengthen myself. I'm thankful for everyone who supports us. I'm thankful for the guidance from Conrad. I'm thankful for the reassurances my Nokum and Mom give me. I'm thankful for the prayers and the words Ed Sakani gave me. All the ones I've met along the way, I'm not good with names, but I'm never gonna forget your face when we're in public. At the end of the rally, we're gonna give an important message. But for now, I wanna invite people to come and share. I wanna start with my Nokum Angela, who joined us for 10 kilometers and was willing to even walk further to go 15 kilometers. And after that, I'll call up individuals one by one. But if I could get all the walkers to come a little closer, I know you're in the shade, but it'll be your turn to speak soon. Welcome.
Wajek kamera tehet makasus condition hasan maskanto them wabamestus. My name is Kind-Hearted Eagle Woman. I'm from the Bear Clan, and my grandfather is the White Buffalo. Those were the ones that was given to me when I finally put my right foot into the right direction. I am the survivor from the residential school for at least 10 years. I survived it, but now, thanks to my grandson here, you know, we always learn from young people. He said, stop calling yourself survivor. You want to take everything what was taken away from you, your dignity, everything what they did to you, your language and all that, your freedom in spirit. So he says, from now on, I want you to call yourself a reclaimer. And I honor that. And that's who I am. I'm reclaiming everything that was taken away from me. Even now, it's going to be 3 years when I finally understand what is the truth and reconciliation is all about. I understand the term, but in my own way, I needed to really understand. Like when I was at the residential school, they tried to kill an Indian in me, but they never succeeded. I was really abused so much in so many ways, sexually and all that. And I'm not trying to tell the world that I've been sexually abused by the nuns, by the priest. But when I found out 2 of the nuns were still alive, when I was told they were here in Ottawa, they said, did you want to go and see them? I said, yes, with an anger. I said, yes, I want to. I was really upset when I found out that they were still alive. But before I left that night, I had a dream about my father. And it seems that I could just hear his voice. He says, he says, my daughter, forgiveness is the right way. It's nice to forgive someone. And I reflect on that. And I came to Ottawa and meet my abusers. And I asked them why I was there. Just to make it short, I don't want to talk too much. And I said, I'm here to really understand the truth and reconciliation is all about. And I confront him, both nuns. This is what you did to me. There was a silence. Finally, she said, she reached out to my hands and she said, yes, I did terrible things to you when you were only 10 years old. And what are you going to do? She says, sister, I'm here to forgive you, to reconcile with you. I cannot live like that anymore. Because forgiveness is the most important thing in our life. That's the most important things in our life. And that's why the world is not going the way it is supposed to be going. Everybody is talking about truth and reconciliation, but nobody practices that. The government people don't practice that. The churches, they don't. They don't. It's just a word. I'm sorry to say, but that's how I feel. And I'm so happy I did that. I'm free from that. I'm free from my pain. I'm free. I'm able to speak in the assembly like this to tell about my story, just to tell them this is what needs to be done. We don't have to be trapped in one spot, not able to go on with our lives. That's why our world is not the way it's supposed to be. And I even told one of the mental health worker, she was doing her presentation, and she said, I don't understand those young people. Why are they doing this, using drugs and all that, alcoholics and all that? Nobody said anything. And I said, excuse me, I need to tell you something. All those people, whatever they did to them at the residential school, and when a woman conceived a child, that mother feeds everything to the child, and that's why it's happening. It continues on until we can fix it. We have to. And I'm not always pushing anyone to do, because we're all different. I'm different. My grandson is different, and my niece is different, and my daughter is different, but that's who I am, what I believe. I'm really strong in my Creator. Creator is the one that gave me life every day. And it makes me it hurts me when my grandson told me he was gonna do this. When he said, I'm gonna take a walk, because I'm thinking about our people, not only our people, but in general, he says, because I know everybody like to go harvesting all over, even our other brothers. That's what he was saying. But what's gonna happen? The world may look fine now, but if everything is polluted, if everything is polluted, our air, the animals, and the water. I'm not only talking about now, in the future generation, maybe 100 years from now on, the kids who are not born yet. What are you going to do? What are you going to do for this? And that's why those young people are fighting. They're not fighting, but they try to educate the government people. Some of the government people, I don't think they understand what the Spirit intended when they were making the treaties. Because things wouldn't go like this. That's why I always think about it. Maybe they don't know. The buildings we see inside, where we sleep, where the building is located, it's a holy ground that the Creator had created for us. That's where you sleep, that's where you eat, that's where you play. But never forget who gave us that beautiful land. The land which is our mother. Without her, we're going to perish without her. And that's my belief. I'm not only talking about me, because I'm not going to be able to see it, but I'm thinking about the future generations. And they're going to say, what did they do? How come they didn't fight for us? How come they did not defend our mother? That's what they're going to say. But what I want is the government people to understand, to sit down and talk about this. Because everyone is involved. If something happens with our Turtle Island, what's going to happen to the rest of those people? And that's why I want that bill to be killed. To understand the young people, why they're suffering, what they're doing now. If you hear me, Premier, Ford, and Carney, keep that in mind. The Creator is looking after you right now. That's why your heart is still beating. That's why your children are still healthy. Keep that in mind. Never forget the unfortunate people. And I want you to listen, please. Listen to the young people. Listen to the Aboriginal people. They were concerned what they were concerned about. I just want to make them understand the importance of living together, to prosper everything together. Please consult the First Nations before you go to their land. Some people might think that they don't use their land, but whenever you go in the bush, you don't destroy anything. You don't just destroy anything or leave your garbage. My father used to say, you don't have to cut that tree if you're not going to use it. If you cut that tree, you know what? It has connection with the Creator. That means you're cutting his veins. Everything that living in the world, he says, it all connected to our Creator. Keep that in mind. You, the premiers, keep that in mind. I'm not giving you hell, I'm just giving you teachings. The teachings of the sacredness, what we look at our world. You came here, your ancestors came here into Turtle Island, and what happened? They wanted to pull people way out in the corner of the world, and that's why they started to build Indian residential school, where they thought that they were gonna bring everyone into mainstream society to live like that. They tried to kill everything in them. They tried to kill their language, the spiritualism. I was told at the residential school when I was there, whatever your grandfathers and your parents do, it's all evilism. You don't adore the sun, that's evil. You don't adore the moon or anything, that's evil. And my father just laughed at me when I told him that. That's all I need to say right now. And thank you very much for everyone that support my grandson and his team when they started. When they first started, there were only 4 guys. And my heart was breaking in so many pieces to watch them. There were not too many people came out to support them. But I know who support them so much is the Creator. Creator brought them here even though they had a hard time. He's the one that gives them life, the strength and everything, but I know they always pray. Thank you, Rick. You were the oldest one amongst them, and the youngest one was, I think it was Sage. And those boys, I'm telling you, when he said, Jacob Iahtail was the one that signed the treaty for Arawapiskat. They're all related. That's my father's uncle, Jacob. And every one of those guys that were there, except for Rick and Constant, all those boys are related. And I told them that when I walked with them from Kirkland. I was with my niece. And I walked 5 kilometers, and I wanted to continue on. And my grandson says, it's enough. You know, but if I didn't come to Ottawa for that assembly for the residential school siting, I would have went with them. I would have went with my niece Elizabeth when she went to support the boys. And my daughter was the only one that supported them the first day. She uses her vehicle. She went to buy the stuff that they need. And thanks to Mike Mutarawapan, the deputy chief from NAN, he went to walk with the boys. And I greatly appreciate him for that. Thank you, Mike. It shows how much you care for the young people. I do care for people. I do care for young people. Yes, I do. I pray every day for them. I said to myself, they're not going to be defeated. The Creator is going to defeat everything what's going on, what's killing our people across the land. Thank you very much.
Next, I'm gonna call the friendly giant over. You've probably seen him on our Facebook Lives. He's always carrying the flag that was created by his family. It's the Treaty 9 flag. So Sage, Konstantinov, Ashtam, I want you guys to talk about the symbols on that flag and the importance of it. Sage is the son of our treaty chief, Conrad Iahtail. And one day, Sage is going to pick up that pipe, and he's going to be our treaty chief. And I'm going to be there beside him as his helper. I see that. I know that. Because I know him so well. I'm going to help him with the ceremonies. And I'm going to help him to share with people. So here he is now, carrying the flag. The friendly giant, Sage Iahtail.
Wache, everybody. My name is Sage Iahtail. I come from Iahtail First Nation, and I'm the direct descendant of Treaty 9 signatory Jacob Iahtail. When Tristan asked me to come on this walk and to hold this flag along the way, I couldn't say no, because he's like my older brother. Hold on. Hold on, sorry. The treaty phrase symbols our ancestors used the directions on the medicine wheel, using the constitution of the sacred pipe and clan feast. There are historical pictures that capture these moments during the time of the treaty making in 1905. The first direction is the sun, because we are going to use our original council fires, the laws we are born with, for as long as the sun shines. The second direction is the thunderbird. We are going to use our waters for as long as they flow. The third direction is the bear. We are going to use our lands for as long as the grass grows. The fourth direction is the north wind. We are going to use our air for as long as the wind blows. This is our law and what our ancestors used during treaty making to protect future generations. There is a lot more to why our own constitution of the sacred pipe was used. My dad is a treaty chief that carries the ceremony that was used during the treaty making. Our sacred pipe connects to our home fire teepees and universe. The poles on our teepees represent our own laws on how we look after the land and water, how we protect it, and how we raise our children, how we hunt and not let anything go to waste. The feathers on a chief headdress are supposed to represent our clans, our laws, and our responsibilities to those clans. That is our Omashkeguat Cree law, and many other nations have similar laws. There are many other things to learn about the medicine wheel and the sacred pipe, and why our headmen made sure to use their own law during treaty signing. This is learned in ceremony. So, yeah, you can see the flag here. We carried it all the way from Timmins to here at Queen's Park in Toronto. I don't have that much else to say other than I'm excited to go home tomorrow. So again, thank you all. Miigwech.
Next, I would like to call up the only female walker who stuck with us the whole way. There were females that joined us, but April at Lucan joined us when we were just about in Kirkland Lake. And so she wants to share a bit about why she came along with us. That's done, April.
Wache, everybody. My name is April Atlukin, spirit name Moonlight Woman. Um, I don't really know where to start, but I just want to say miigwech. I'm really grateful to be here. So I guess my journey started when I lived in Iahtail for a good few months, and when I was up there, I got to see the land and I got to see the members and everything. So it was a good insight to being there. And when I was there, I just went through a really hard time, and I got lost a little bit while I was up there. And when I came back, I ended up resorting to like just substance use, and I ended up going down a dark road, and I felt lost, and I felt alone for a while, and I ended up meeting Tristan, and he showed me that, like, he explained to me about this walk and what we were about to do, and I'm just really grateful to be here. And I'm grateful to represent the females too. I want to just say that this ceremony, it's important, We had our really hard days, and the hard days are the ones that matter the most. It makes it all worth it. It makes it worth this moment today, to kind of show our resilience as Aboriginal people, and just to show that we matter. And I'm just grateful for this opportunity, and I'm grateful for my ceremonial brothers who followed me through this journey. And yeah, I'm 2.5 weeks sober now since I started the walk, and I just keep praying that I continue this path. And I wanted to say miigwech to everybody. It's not easy to talk about, but I'm happy that I got to represent the females too on this walk, to show that, just to show our resilience and to show that we're life givers. And yeah, and miigwech to Tristan for, this opportunity, and miigwech to the guys and to all our supporters out there. And hopefully by doing this and being here and speaking, it just, that the government can, fully see that it comes from the heart. And yeah, I'm just really grateful to be here and to be walking on this earth and to walk that path, the path towards sobriety and just being a better me. And I just want to say miigwech to everybody. And I'm really happy to be here. And yeah, I'm just grateful. So thank you, guys.
Next, I want to call on one of the other walkers, my cousin, Todd Spence. He said he's been saving his speech for Queen's Park. If you see him on the lives, whenever we pass him the camera, he goes, "Oh, what's up, everyone? Okay, good night." So he's been saving it for here. And after Todd, we'll have Rick Chichu come up. And then if Mr. Craig Iron Feet Koostachin wants to speak after Rick. Look at that. Konstantinov wants to be the silent helper. He's a stone man.
Scootin'!
Wojciech, thanks for coming out. I'm camera shy, so I'm good. I'm good.
Hey, good day. Hey, good day. Kept us going with a lot of laughs. He's a funny man. And next, we'll ask the youngest member of our group, Rick Chichu. Ask them, brother. You have your more than 2 minutes this time.
Wojciech Miswe, Rick Chichu, Dishnikasan, Moose Usibi Usji. I'm from Moose Factory and Moose Cree First Nation. I just want to say that to participate as a helper, protector, is a phenomenal experience, a way of life that is a calling that we follow what the instructions are here on Turtle Island. I, as a helper and protector, usually take, when it comes to protecting Nagawayaski, Mother Earth, or the environment, it usually is a direction as well from female, like my granddaughter, my granddaughters, and my daughters, and very important woman in my life, like my sister. And so when Tristan said, asked if I was interested to help out with the walk as in that role, it was, I didn't know when I would be able to. I told him, but I'm certainly up for the task. And we made it over here, facing, as you've heard, obstacles and relying on our resilience, our blood memory, spirit memory, relying on all the forces that are here, that have existed here since millennia. You know, that cut that they tried to make against our resilience in our history, in our languages, in our ceremony, in our ilililu, pimitation, our way of life, that we have been given instruction here on Turtle Island from the Creator and we get Jack Nana Busho, Jesus' brother. So we've been doing that for millennia, for thousands and thousands of years. And so the short history that we've been disrespected, facing, we've heard what type of disrespects have happened to people of Turtle Island. That cut that they tried to make onto that history is didn't, it did happen, and how effective or that was, I don't think that, I really believe in our, like the medicine wheel, we are physical, we are spiritual, we are emotional, and we are mental. The yellow, red, blue, white. We are 25% spiritual human beings, and so that resilience that we're tied to in our blood and spirit memory is there. If we sit and talk with somebody that's contrary to those, they will, I don't know what would happen, but I know that we have to all be that way, that we have to follow the natural law and the homeland laws of Turtle Island in order for us to have less MMIWG, less violence, less illness, less catastrophic events, in such as so many forest fires, so many pollution, less healthiness in the environment and in people. The more harm we do to Mother Earth, we will see that come out in the people. We will be violent people if we continue to hurt Mother Earth. But us, as Indigenous people, because we're 25%, you know, all of us are 25%, but like I say, like the yellow are, you know, the yellow and the red and the blue and the white. Us, we sit on the spiritual part, the red, and we're all supposed to work together. So we have that blood memory and spirit memory, and we want to share that. We want to share the greatness of that to so we can have healthier lives. And I'm going to stop there about that part. And that's what we brought here. That's what I helped bring here when they asked me to help with the walk. And we prayed for that, step by step, walker by walker, and so on. We come from areas that, you know, we have some pristine areas left, some clean areas left, where it's really life-supporting ecosystems that are there. And like we said earlier too, that because of our values to leave the land the way you found it, only take what you need, share what you have, and waste nothing. That's why it's like that. And if our trails and our camps were lit up with neon lights viewed from a satellite, you would see those trails and camps everywhere, along every river, every lake, every creek. So with, you know, the walkers, the Ashishkeesh, the youth that walked. We'd stay up late sometimes. They would keep me up, and sometimes I wouldn't, and I stay up late sometimes as well, but sometimes I wanted to go to sleep because I was tired from the day and the challenges that, that we were doing, and the actions, the whole scenario around it, for us standing up for many reasons that Bill C-5 and Bill 5, what they have displayed in regards to all around that bill, those bills. It warranted the youth to stand up. That is my understanding of that. And so these guys, these girls, the women, the elders like Angela, all the people that participated in the walk, especially the Inninuwuk, the youth, and the youth that are standing up at Here We Stand camp, and the youth that are here at that Ramon helped, to organize and to help stand up, and so they we have to hear them because they're closer to their natural way. Us older people have been impacted more because of we're older, we've been in the system more, and the younger people know what makes the world go around. They don't see that, so they point out that what's wrong, what's going on here. We need something better. We need to change. Like, why are we divided? We heard what they said. Why aren't we happy people? Why aren't we loving people? Why aren't we kind people? Why is our happiness not happening as much as it should be? Why is our time here on earth not why can't I be a free person here on Mother Earth? So they're closer to their natural way of life, their humanness, and that's what I understand from them, and rightfully so. They stand up for that. So when they walk, and the tears that we cried and the pain that we felt, we used our best ability to endure. We embraced, and we realized as well, they realized as well, that's not who entirely they are. They are much more than those struggles. Then I've seen them with their youth. They came and I've seen them display their youth, and how beautiful that is. And so I'm really proud and glad of them, that all that they represent. They represent their age group, their families, their friends, their relations. They represent the water, and the Iahtail, Nipiaski, Ludin there, the animals, birds, or the fire, the water, the land, and the air. So I'm very proud of them, and I can only help them a little bit. It's all, we've tried our best, we did our best to bring something here that's really meaningful, and I'm going to leave it at that because I'm really don't know what to say, but I really love these people, and miigwech, thank you.
Just before Craig speaks, I just want to share. Rick is one of my role models. Every time I visit his community to sing for round dances, I always ask, can I be billeted at his place? Because he has such a kindness to him, a gentleness. And that's how I want to be when I reach his age. I want to be a deadly helper, and I want to be the kindest man that I can be. And Rick, you really have to open that bed and breakfast in Moose Factory so I can come and visit you. So for our next speaker, we're gonna have Craig Iron Feet Koostachin, and then I'm gonna ask my Aunt Elizabeth to come and share after he speaks. Shmigach.
Hello, Wache. My name's Craig Koostachin here, Iron Feet. I think it was within, I don't know, 3 or 4 days I earned that Iron Feet. No, it's like Matheson. I was Matheson. I was the one who was duct taping my feet, wearing thick wool socks. I don't know where to begin here, so I'm gonna speak from the heart. I guess from my spiritual awakening, I guess it was with, I was in 10th grade, I was 15 with the 2010 Winter Olympic Games. I guess that's when I get into involved in political activism. It just didn't sit well with me with the Olympic Games, you know, over expanding on Indigenous lands, wildlife, endangering the fish, the wildlife, stepping on Indigenous treaties. So there's me being this rebellious 15-year-old in high school, me say no to Olympics 2010 in front of the whole high school student body, 500 students in Timmins. But the sad thing was I was by myself. I didn't have that support. I was alone. Everybody was afraid of me. They used to call me Crazy Craig in high school. That's what happened, because even in Ontario education curriculum, like 9th grade civics, they always tell like us young people, high school students, like civic rights. If there's something wrong, speak up about it. And so there's me in high school that I always sat down during the national anthem because I didn't agree with, you know, no clean drinking water on First Nation communities. There's so many problems, no equal education, no equal health rights. And did you know that the First Nations, according to Statistic Canada, there's a 2011 article on saying how First Nations have a 10-year shorter lifespan than the average Canadian. See, that didn't sit well with me, and then that's why I sat down during the Canadian National Anthem when I was 15, 16, and everybody used to roll their eyes, and I used to get sent to the office all the time. See, that's what I mean. I was so rebellious. I was that crazy kid. But again, I was by myself. I was alone, no support. And this guy can vouch for me. We attended the same high school. But that was the thing is like, then again, there was a housing crisis. I believe that was in 2010. I tried to do some kind of drive, and there I was again, no support, just by myself. And then I was just disappointed. And then time moving forward, then that's when the first, that's when Chief Teresa Spence was gonna do the hunger strike against Bill C-45 in 2012. That's when I ended up out in Victoria Island with with her and my aunt Sylvia Matatawaban. And ended up there for like 3-4 months there, just trying to kill Bill C-45 in 2012. See, I continue going on and on. I've always been part of activism. And then time moving forward. That's when this bill started coming out, or let me hold that back. I was involved in mining. Let's say at Victor Diamond Mine up north, James Bay. The thing is that I was part of the reclamation project, and yeah, I'm not saying that I'm the good guy, but it's like I was being paid by blood money. But however, that what kept me sleeping well at nights, or my redemption, was that I'm trying to restore what was destroyed by the reclamation project, is by tree planting, grass seeding. I built the fish pond. Because that's the problem. The thing is that a lot of people talk and not take action, but the thing is that I tried to do something, tried to put what was taken. So by tree planting, I suffered my body. My right shoulder's busted. I had to do physiotherapy on the right knee. I was just suffering. Right now, my fingertips are tingly because of frostbite. I had to build a fish pond in -64 weather. See, I'm suffering. Now I will suffer to give back to the future, because there's an old saying, if you believe in the future, plant a forest. And that's what I did. I didn't talk about it, I did it. Actions speak louder than words. And in time moving forward, as I said, I felt alone as a youth. When I was 15, 18, I had no support. And then it was when this bill, new Bill 5, was being talked about, that's when I started noticing all the youth start organizing. Then it was June 6, 2025, it was Shem Mantanaz. It's like I saw it sharing on Facebook, I might as well check it out. And when I was so surprised that there was a large gathering at Participant Park in Timmins, everybody just showed up, and I'm like, this is amazing. I wish I had this support. And then I was impressed, and I went up to Shem Mantanaz there, and I said, I gave him a big warm hug and said, you know what, you achieved something what I couldn't even do. I thank you for that. And I recall being at that Participant Park, I gave a speech that this gathering, that gathering in Participant Park in Timmins, that this is igniting at the first right step. The step like that we're gonna do something. Now keep in mind the step. And then time moving forward, I believe it was June 27? Anyways, there was a second rally. And it was just downpouring hard rain. Heavy rain, ugly rain. Nobody wants to get wet. No one wants to go out. Even I didn't want to go out. But then again, I remembered that, I was alone. When I was a youth, 18, I was like, oh, I just might as well grab a coat, go soaked. You see, just show up for the kids. And it was so fun when I went there at their gathering in the Hollinger Park in Timmins, is that I saw all these youth members. What's so different about it is that they came on their own terms together. There was no parents. They came together united. That's what I loved about it, saying I see that there's truth. There's the fire in their heart. And I told him, wow, these kids are for real. This is the real deal. And I told him I showed up in solidarity because, again, I know what it feels like to be alone. No support. And I said, I came here in solidarity. But there's a thing there, too, is that Ramon and then his other colleague, he asked me, do you want to come to Queen's Park with us? I was like, the sad part, I said no. Because I was broke. I don't know how to get around. I feel bad, bummed out. So, time moving forward, this guy sliding into my DMs, hey, want to participate in a walk? And I was like, I had my doubts. I was like, ugh, this is going to be a long, painful walk. It's going to be suffering. But then again, I suffered through tree planting, physio. I was like, oh, I guess I'll come say hello to the youth members in Queen's Park. I'll walk there and I'll suffer again and again. And guess what? I suffered. I'm the one who unfortunately had to withdraw from the walk. Because due to that, I guess the acids that were accumulating in my thigh, my hamstrings, my kidneys were just absorbing all that acid, causing serious damage. And then that's when the good doctor at the ER in North Bay, he's told me, hey, you can't continue, you gotta withdraw for your safety. So unfortunately, I had to listen to him and I had to drop out. I was bummed out. I was angry. And then again, on that, this guy again sliding my DMs, as always, last minute, he says, hey, he's like, you want to come to finish the walk with us? It's like, okay, when? Tomorrow. It's like, again, last minute. I didn't have time to prep or anything. I'm just like, oh. Hopped on that bus and here I am again. And what wasn't mentioned at the beginning of the walk that they told me when I was suffering. You know, the first couple of days, we made our mistakes. And we learned from them. Guess what? The first 3 days, I was wearing steel-toe boots. He was rocking the tennis shoes. And then we had somebody rocking the Crocs. Croc shoes, and we're just making mistakes. And we're like, oh no. See, we overcame those obstacles. We make mistakes and we learn and we became stronger and stronger every day. And I tell you, it wasn't easy getting here. And that's what they told me from the beginning. No walkers left behind. And they kept their word. And here I stand again. Even I'm in pain right now. I'm tingling. I'm suffering. But I'll suffer again and again for the water, the land, the people, because I want to educate about the treaty, protect the environment. So I'm happy to stand amongst you, especially stand solidarity with the kids, the youth. See, and I walked here and I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm getting emotional. Woo! So, I don't know where to go with this. I think I'm just gonna end it right here, right now. I'm happy to stand here. I'm happy to see all the support. and then I will continue fighting for the land, the water, the people, and hopefully that this will bring more unison. And more importantly, for this walk, that I walked for my health, to find identity, spirituality. Oh yeah, I forgot, let me retract that. When I remember at the participant park with that, remember that first step? I guess for me, I guess that was a foreshadowing of me making my first step of walking here. That was back in June, and here I am. It's like the first step. It's just showing up in solidarity. And okay, I'm done. Thank you for listening to my non-script. Thank you.
Thank you. Craig Iron Feet Koostachin. I'm the one that gave him that name when he took his boots off one day on the back of the truck, and I was looking at his duct tape, and I said, well, what's the point of that? Well, I won't get any blisters. And then there's me with my blisters on each feet. So next will be my Aunt Elizabeth Etherington. She joined us for a good few days on the walk.
My spirit name is Eastern Sky Woman, and my earth name is Elizabeth. As I stand here this afternoon, I feel so emotional that I have tears rolling out of my eyes, listening to these young people speak, especially my nephew, Tristan. The twice that I was able to listen to him talk about the treaty and what his purpose was, it really inspired me, and I'm so proud of him. Even the other walkers. And April too, I would message her, I would sing for her and encourage her to keep going. And when I think about the work they put in for their walk, it was for the treaty rights and for understanding, teaching other people what it means to have those treaties. And after listening to Tristan speak about his purpose, I felt compelled to help. I had taken 3 days off to go somewhere else, but my heart called me to go join them, to help them, to support them. And I was able to do that by walking with them and then cooking 2 meals for them, because, who wants to eat in a restaurant daily? And standing here today listening to my Aunt Angela, I had tears. And that's something I didn't grow up with. I grew up in a dysfunctional family. I have 10 siblings, but there's only a few of us left. When I was 6 years old, I experienced physical violence from my father. From there, I lived with fear, and I lived on my own, and I stayed away from people. I was 16 when I went back to high school, and I stayed away from the community because I had trouble, because I had no sense of belonging, because I had experienced violence in my life when I was 6. And just before they had started this walk, I am now 56 years old, and I've been working on my healing for 15 years. Just like to go acknowledge that 6-year-old that experienced physical violence and isolating myself from people because of fear. I ended up working so hard for the last 15 years to heal my life because I was intergenerational school survivor. My parents were residential school survivors. And it was hard to learn the history of residential school because it was to destroy the young people so that they'd be colonized to become another society instead of our Aboriginal culture. Today I stand here and it sounds so beautiful to hear my niece, my aunt, and I help her because those things I didn't hear when I was young. I'm a mother of one. I have lots of nieces and nephews. My siblings, their grandmothers, grandfathers. And when I think about my own life, the healing that I put into, the resilience that I came up trying to heal my life, making sure that, I'm doing this for me to heal my life because I was almost destroyed just because of residential school and my family as well. But, it comes with forgiveness to be able to heal. You have to spend time to learn about what happened in life, what I experienced in my traumas, and to be able to feel them, to be able to shed tears, to be able to yell, to give that power to that energy that was stuck in my body because they wanted to destroy our people. And when I learned that my nephew Tristan wanted to do something for his people or other people to teach, I supported that. I was so proud. And when I see young people that are experiencing good life because of love and kindness, I was envious because I never got to experience those things when I was young because I was buried. I buried myself in 4 walls to survive. And when I had my spiritual awakening, that was scary. It was so powerful. It took me a year just to understand. I started going to ceremonies to be able to heal myself, to forgive for the things that I've gone through in my life by other people or things that were related from physical abuse or even, other types of abuse that were experienced. I stand here today proud of the young people that walked. Because it's resilience. And I'm proud to say I'm a mother, I'm an aunt, a sister, a cousin, a friend, someone that can shed tears. I would cry right now, but I'm not gonna do that. But there's something, I'm grateful for our Creator. I will always be grateful for my Creator because it's the best thing that happened in my life after going through the process of healing, peeling all these layers that carried, the things that lived in my body because I didn't know anything about emotional or spiritual for so long. It wasn't until 15 years ago that I started my walk of healing. And it's been a long time. And I'm happy to say that my inner child that was injured when she was 6 years old is healed. I'm 56 years old today, and I can tell myself that I love me. Mingwet.
The last person I want to invite to speak on behalf of our group, and I didn't prepare him, so this is very last minute, but to our treaty chief, Conrad Iahtail, I would appreciate it if you could come up and share some words, and then we're going to have Kiara Spence after to share on behalf of Youth Rising. And then at the end, to the media, I'll say stick around for our final message. And for everyone, save your phone batteries because I'll request that you all go live at the end. Miigwech.
Miigwech. Tristan. Ninanas ka muna nos kagisigak. Minego sa taman. Ewap matagok. Kausko bimatisik. Nistaka wijistoy kaki wijitehe mai ho kaki pumuhtata kaki koano extendago. Kumusomano kaki apit stachik. Nistam. Eki asatamagechik. Eki naska eki asatamagechik semanto otonsyono. Kiki obaten nos kaki skak. Kiapit stanon, ano ma, unisyoona. Kumaga inanas ko mo yan ikite, petsit no patamay kikuan, maga sago tohtsa pa no. Kohta na kanaw kikuan o takino kaskap mati sikagimotik. Gigi fokusen mo ni stam. Miswe, jostenegem ostenege stamoyak kitinimo kiwetno kohtapi. Kustenetagon chetos kateme kana makakapumotateme kipimat sono. Iguana makisasito ni koek. Nikan, kato sa semino, kakaskan mo no, kusa mo, uhagi ko na. Kata suka kapo, nikan. Asyat tamat sa pinakikuan, kagita ko yapan kisihawak. Kawapaten, kaya si Chin, kapasakunin na okay kuan. Kagiapit sa tatsi kamasumano kito. Hermano apaten anehege ko na kaita. Eko na mago na gitu yan inunimo yan. Tao ka tinagatos tamagi chik kansas to chik kiko na kaita yan. I'd just like to say thank you, everyone that's here, showing in support for these young people. It was an honor to help them achieve what they have achieved today. In the beginning, they asked for a sweat lodge. And my partner, my older brother, John Matthews, gave them that prayer for their walk. And today, we did that pipe ceremony acknowledging the Creator for safekeeping of these young people and our people and every race. That's what we prayed about. We prayed about to have understanding what treaty is. A treaty that was signed 1764, Niagara Falls. Our grandfathers made a journey down to Niagara Falls by walking, same as these young people did. and I acknowledge that. They earned something, and someday they will see it. In 1905, they used that pipe in the clan feast that they used. It's not talked about so much how it went. But we have the information. We got the information, how it went from the other side. So we believe in these things, that it will help us. Even the Ontario government, Canada government, to work together to understand our standpoint of view of how this treaty is. You need to make an effort to understand us, because we understand your laws. So I invite you, Prime Minister Doug Ford, are you here? I invite you to meet with me and these young people. We will talk and finish business, what my grandfathers started. And I am willing to work with you for the benefit of our people and your people. That's my message to you. Somebody deliver that message. Thank you. Miigwech.
Just because we're running short on time, I'm just going to make a quick couple thank yous before Kiara speaks. I want to thank Mushkegowuk representatives for coming here, our Grand Chief and one of our Deputy Chiefs. I want to thank our Chief of Attawapiskat, Sylvia Koostachin Matatawaban. She was here, I saw her earlier over the hedges. But I want to acknowledge you for the support you're coming to show and standing with us. And to also thank Mike Matatawaban for helping us at the beginning. And so we'll have Kiara Spence come up now to speak for Youth Rising and her partner.
Miigwech. Good day, Wache, Misway. My name is Kiara Spence. I come from Moose Cree First Nation, Moose Factory Island. My roots come from Mushkegowuk territory and Attawapiskat, Fort Albany. My family has settled in Moosonee Moose Factory, and my roots come from Mushkegowuk and Smoky Falls. Well, I'm excited to be here. I'm here representing Youth Rising Together. My friends, Catherine and Shem, couldn't be here due to them living in Timmins. And sorry, I'm a little anxious. I'm not used to doing stuff like this. It's my first time. And I wanted to talk about my journey of coming here and how I became a part of Youth Rising. It first started at the Queen's Park encampment. My partner and I, Jonathan, we went to the Sacred Fire and we got to connect with the community there. We got to connect with people that guided us. And I'm proud to be here. I'm proud to stand here among all of you. After this bill passed, I felt almost vindictive and hurt that we're going backwards. I thought about my grandparents. I thought about the trap lines. I thought about everything all the stories I was told growing up, especially from my grandfather, John Spence. He'd always tell me stories about the bush along the Otter Rapids. He'd always talk to me in Cree. He'd always tell me that we have to continue doing this. When I was younger, I didn't understand what he meant. But now that I'm here in front of the legislative building, I'm like, holy, this is real now. Yeah. But now that I'm older, I'm starting to realize that this world's not perfect, obviously, but I'm here to pave the way for youth like my sister, for her generation, to pave the way for the generations that couldn't speak or that want to but can't due to government-funded things like their job. I'm proud of my mom for coming here. I know that she experienced lots of trauma, and I'm proud of all of you for coming, especially in this heat. And Youth Rising Together, our mission is to raise the voices of youth across Northern Ontario and beyond. Our mission is to connect as one and to share our voices and to speak the truth. Our mission is to acknowledge, to teach, to learn. This is all a learning experience for everyone. It comes with balance. It's one thing my mom has always taught me. A negative will always follow a positive. The negative was this bill passing, and with it passing, we were able to come as one. It's brought all of us together. Even if some communities don't agree that what we're doing, that we're speaking up isn't right, there are others like elders, aunties, uncles, cousins, mothers, grandmothers, grandfathers. They're here to back us up. Growing up, I wasn't really connected to the culture. I went to sweats growing up with my mom, but I moved down here for a better quality of life, especially for my siblings, and I'm grateful my mom made that sacrifice. Because of that sacrifice, I'm here to talk to all of you today and others from across the nation, possibly. I don't know who's listening, but this is a stepping stone for me in the future. Maybe children will have together. You never know the niche way ever. But I'm proud to be here, and I'm proud to be Indigenous. I'm proud of the long ways my family has come, especially with the fact that I still can't believe I'm here. When I met Ramon at the camp, I was like, oh, you know, I've seen you around. And he was like, really? And he was all confused. I'm like, yeah. And after that, we started talking, and he talked about Okinawa. And then after that, I offered to draw him a logo to give us a face. Because at first it was a joke. I was like, yeah, I could just draw it, you know, it's whatever. And then Ramon believed in me. He shined that light. He was able to help me reconnect, because art is another way of reconnecting. And there's my little logo there. Well, the draft version. I have the finalized version, but I'm proud of that I left a mark in this nation. I know that our movement, even in Youth Rising Together and in Okinawa, we will be remembered for generations to come. It'll be passed along to my children, my grandchildren, anyone I can tell on the street. And I'm very proud. I'm proud of my partner for sticking alongside with me. We both found it hard at the beginning. We wanted to essentially quit. we were both emotionally and spiritually drained, and I told him, no, let's keep going. We got this. Let's just take it a day at a time. And we both kept pushing through. He kept pushing me through things I thought I wasn't good enough for. And the walkers, I'm very proud of the walkers for coming here. I can't even have words that describe of like the history that you're doing. And when I met up with them, I was thinking, oh, can I really walk all the way down Yonge Street? I have mobility issues, so I was doubtful of myself. But talking with Tristan, I felt like I was home again. That part of me in that Treaty 9 family, Treaty 9 bloodline, I felt like I was home, and we just kept pushing through. And he thanked us at the end when we reached a park not too far from here. And I thank you for giving me teachings along the way and watching your story, and Ramon as well. We're all growing as one. Even if we all have different views, different teachings, this is where we all have to come together and to be resilient. And this is why I thank Creator for this opportunity. Miigwech.
Bonjour, Anin. You would know Maingan Nadishnakas, Maingan no Dodem, Bakwamakang Nadunjiba. Traditionally, my name is Northern Wolf. I come from Rokomakang First Nation, and I'm Wolf Clan. I had really strong feelings when I learned about the bill, when I learned it affected Kira and my uncles up north. I was afraid for them. I was afraid for the people of James Bay, how much this bill would impact their life, how they still live on the land, how they use boats to traverse. I was afraid and I was angry because I have a great respect for my culture, for the people. I find it amazing how resilient we are, how we're here after all these years, how we've gone through so much and how we've changed so much, yet we're all still here. And it all kind of stems from a while ago. Not even in November, I was really depressed when I met Kira. And I didn't really feel like I was part of the culture. You know, being an urban Indigenous man. When I came to that camp in Queen's Park on the other side of the building, I found community. I found people to connect with, people who in some ways have also felt the same. And I'm grateful for those people. I got an uncle, I got an auntie over there, and I'm proud to have that connection. I'm proud to be with my people, learn hand drumming. You know, I learned a few teachings. I even taught and spoke the language over there with some people I knew. And you know, it's not every day you get to do stuff like that here in the city or in any city. And it just gave me this huge gratefulness and this thankfulness for not only my partner for keeping me there and sticking through everything, but for everyone around. Anyways, yeah, I'm speaking from the heart as well. It's, I think I'm just proud to be here with all you people. And I'm proud of all of you for sticking it out, for being here, and for everyone who's spoken before me. It's a lot to come here and talk and speak up. So, miigwech, miyo.
Miigwech. My name is Gary Wasikizik. I live in Toronto, but I'm originally from Mishkigogama, Northern Ontario, north of Thunder Bay. We have a highway running through our community. It's called Highway 599. We watch the trucks come in. We watch them go out. My community is not doing so good. Even though they extract trillions, millions, billions of dollars off our trap lines, hunting grounds. No, we live in third world conditions. You know what? I've been doing this for a long, long time. I do blockades, train blockades, road blockades, Occupy, and a whole lot of other things. I recently just came back from my community up in northern Ontario, north of Thunder Bay, Pickle Lake, Sulikout area. I took videos, I took pictures. I went out on the land of graves and foundations. Like I said, it's not only the Ring of Fire that's in my area. We forget Musselwhite Mine. We forget Umex Mine. We forget Donald Lake Mine. We forget the Pickle Crow Mine. And they're always prospecting, they're always digging. Before I came back this way, one of the counselors showed me a picture. They're always, like I said, digging. They're always looking because we're rich in mineral. We're considered the last frontier up in that area. So we know what you guys are talking about. We see it firsthand. The trucks going in, out. And this counselor showed me pictures of more graves. The pictures that I have of graves and foundations. I share that with Greenpeace. I share that with, I don't know, whoever I can. We're in touch with international human rights lawyers now. We have to start thinking outside the box. We have to start filing charges against KKK Canada, United Nations, International Criminal Court, other world courts. We have to start, like thinking outside the box. Why would you want to take it into the Canadian system? Why do you want to take it into the Ontario court system? That's not where they belong. That's why they call it the justice system. Just us. Get it? I've been doing this for a long, long time. I've always wondered how our people ended up the way they are. The point that we got to. You know what we call it now? We call it economic genocide, which will create cultural genocide by removing First Nations off the land so that they could have access to the resources. We know that story. My community has ended up in a lot of the residential schools, the foster homes, the jails, the prisons, alcoholic, drug addicted. So when you think about economic genocide, think of it this way. Reservations, residential schools, 60 scoop, foster homes, group homes, training schools, jails, prisons, hospitals. Indian pain is big business. We are just a business to them. A lot of the elders that I talk to, I used to go to the elders quite a bit when I was younger, getting into the activism. I hate calling it activism because what the elders explain, I'm lucky. I live in Toronto. I talk to university professors, historians, research groups, and a whole lot of other people. Smart Alex, smart people. You know, they give you all this, you know, assimilation. They use terms like reconciliation. I got to ask you something. Reconciliation. You want to talk reconciliation? And then you want to turn around and talk about Bill 5 and Bill C-5? Is that what reconciliation looks like? You know, our people used to say, these people that have come here speak with a forked tongue. That's a very good example of what they'd mean when they speak with a forked tongue. They can talk on one side and talk about reconciliation, but then they'll turn around and talk about Bill 5 and Bill C-5. Everything that they put in front of us, assimilation, education, the apology, reconciliation, that's smoke in your eyes for you to believe in. No, what we have to do is start thinking outside the box. The 60s are over. Love and peace. You know? We got to start doing a little bit more direct action. And again, like I said, I like to call it economic genocide, which will create cultural genocide by removing First Nations off the land so that they can have access to the resources. My brother Tom, who studied in Trent University, likes to call it breaking the link that First Nations have with the land. And that's exactly what it is. Why are we so proud to be from the reservation that we are from? At one time, I used to be real proud to be, oh man, hey, where are you from, man? I'm from Wiibuseego-Stamok. I'm from Osnaburg. I hear people going, I'm from Six Nations. I'm from Iahtail. I'm from Sandy Lake. I'm from Big Trout. Now I think about it a little bit differently. When I talk like this, I'm not from Wiibuseego-Stamok. I'm not from Toronto. I'm not from Pickle Lake. I'm not from any other little town. We are a people of the land. Where I'm from is where my ancestors were born, where my mother was born, where, you know, we used to hunt, trap, fish, pick rice. That's where I'm from. And I suggest to every one of us, every one of you, find out where your ancestors are from. Find out where your people used to hunt and trap. That's one of the prophecies of our elders. Someday we will have to go back on the land. And again, I say, like I said, the elders have said, they put us, one of the best lessons that it got. Like I said, I talked to university professors, I talked to historians, research groups, and a whole lot of other people. They use terms like assimilation, education, and other. But the best explanation that I've ever gotten was from the elders. They put us to sleep by doing what they did. When I first started out in the activism, what you call activism, what people call activism, I hate that term. Because, like the elders say, they put us to sleep. I didn't have a clue what residential schools were when I first started out, because they put us to sleep. My mother's murdered, my father's murdered, my sisters are murdered, my grandmother's murdered. Even though you know who did it, they don't do a thing. That's what missing murdered Native women is all about. And missing murdered Native men. Because Indian pain is big business. You're going to need psychiatrists, you're going to need jail guards, you're going to need prison guards, you're going to need hospital workers, you're going to need, like I said, Indian pain is big business. And how do I know that? Because my family went through, we took a real hit. Not just my family, my community. And like I said, when I first started out, I've always wanted to know how we got to the point we are. And it's like putting a puzzle together, trying to figure out. I'm lucky. I get to talk to a whole lot of people living in Toronto and doing what we do. Talking to historians, research groups, university professors. I talk at all the major universities. I've already talked at all the major universities. They show you documents, policies, and laws. It's like putting a puzzle together. And like I said, now, yeah, like I said, it's, oh man, we got to start waking up. I heard a lot of the comments that were being made today. I agree with quite a bit of the comments. But I think, man, we got to start doing a lot of the direct action, man. We got to start doing something, right? And if you're in touch with lawyers, if you're in touch with, and that's the other thing the elders have told me is to try to work with them, try to be with them, try to educate them, And if they don't listen, take it on them. That's the only thing that they will understand. Again, economic genocide will create cultural genocide by removing First Nations off the land so that they could have access to the resources. Reservations, residential schools, 60 scoop, foster homes, group homes, jails, prisons, alcoholism, drug addiction, missing murdered Native women, missing murdered Native men. It's all done on purpose. So the faster we do something, the better off we'll be. Miigwech, miigwech, miigwech.
Just a final message. I've sent letter to both Doug Ford and to the Prime Minister, calling on them to change, calling on them to have a turning point in history, to walk with us and be an example for the world, to show the world that a government and Indigenous people can work together. But more and more, we're getting steamrolled. They're going through with all their projects. They're bringing up fake rights holders. What we are going to do right now to ensure that there's no delay in courts, that there's no delays in our voices being heard. I'm doing a call out to the ward chiefs across Canada, a call out to the warrior societies. Go! Blockade the highways, blockade the railways. Wherever there's any kind of fishing, go and blockade it. Commercial fishing, everything. This is the only way that they listen to us. Courts will only delay us until a new government comes into power. I send this call out, me, Tristan Ashishkeesh. I don't want anyone to be affiliated with it in case of any blowbacks. So I make out this call for all Indigenous people, for all Canadians. I make this call out to all the warriors. Go out there. To all the veterans of the past, go and support them, guide them. Do it in a peaceful way. Stand your ground. Have your voice heard. Do not be silenced anymore. This is a time in history where we can make a change. We do this for the land we love, the water we love, the air that gives us breath. But go to the blockades, set up your encampments, communities, support your warriors. Gesh to miigwech.
Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also follow us on social media, and for more information, check out our website.